Hello, welcome, my friends. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a good week. Today we are looking at these beautiful cards. This is a new suite from Stampin' Up in the annual catalog. We're going to go over what those supplies entail today. This is from the Kintsugi Inspirations Suite. We have a stamp set, dies, embossing folder, paper, and a beautiful embellishment all in this suite. And so today I will be showing you how I created these cards, and specifically this really great tip about die cutting some of the vases with the dies. So we'll look at that, and I'll show you how I did the shading on the vases and the little cup. Yeah, I know it's probably more of a tea cup for hot green tea and it has a flower in it, but you know, it's my creation, so it's whatever, right? Anyway, we're going to look at all the fun things and create 2 or 3 cards today together. We'll see how much time we have here. But if you are joining live, please say hi. And if you are watching a replay, please skip ahead so that you don't have to listen to all the welcome chatter, as we might want to call it. I see there are 17 people on live, but I don't, well, actually it said now it says 23. So hi, Randy. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Let's see. Is anybody else? Oops, wait. Am I frozen? I don't know. I don't think I'm frozen. I think it was just my iPad. I see Randy, Colleen, Kelly, Kathleen, and Patty. Can somebody just tell me if it's frozen? I hope it's not. Because I don't want to like go through the whole thing and then find out that it was frozen the whole time. I think we're good. I think we're good. And we will get going on the cards in just a minute. I just want to give everybody about 30 more seconds to find the live, and then we will start creating. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Oh my goodness, I think my iPad is just being glitchy. Hello, Elaine. Hi, Kathleen, Sandra, Terry, Patty. Hello, everybody. Not frozen. Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But before we get started, hang on. I am just going to, sorry, just bear with me a minute. I am going to go out of my Facebook page and come back in because it's just being really glitchy on my end, and I prefer to see your comments instead of frozen nothingness on my, there we go. So now I see Randy and Robin and Jackie. Hello. Hi, Kelly. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Diana. Welcome. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I want to show you the supplies that we're using. If you've hung around with me very long, you know that I really enjoy kind of the roadmap of where we're headed with our projects. And then I will show you how I made these projects. So the Kintsugi Inspirations is an entire suite in the catalog, page 58, 59, and 60. And it does, if you haven't read it, maybe you've already read it, but it does give us some information here that this is a traditional Japanese technique of repairing broken pottery with gold. And so I'm going to just hold up so you can see. Do you see kind of the little gold veins on these 2 vases or pieces of pottery? And so when something was broken, it was repaired with gold, and that just gave it more value, and it celebrated the imperfections instead of hiding it. So that's just such a great philosophy, I feel. There are different ways to get the gold veining, so we'll look at that. We're going to look at the bundle, which is the stamp set and dies. There's also the embossing folder that I have to show you and the beautiful gold gems. But we're going to kind of focus a lot today on this paper because I found it to just be so easy to work with and so fun to create cards. So if you need inspiration, you've got a lot of inspiration here in the catalog. And then hopefully when you see these cards created, you'll find even more inspiration. Hi, Jackie. Hello, Diana, Lois. Hi, Michael. Tammy's here. Hi, Petra, Barbara. Kathleen says, I wasn't sure I liked this set. However, at the end of this live session, I'm going to want it. My lives inspire. I'm glad they inspire. I'm really glad. So let's just take a look at the cards here, and then we'll make a couple of them together. This one I actually die cut right out of the designer paper. So we're going to look at that. All 3 images were die cut from the designer paper. So you don't have to have the stamp set if for some reason you don't want it. But I think once you see how I created these, you'll probably want it because it's just so pretty and so easy. You can see I've used the designer paper in the background as well as gold foil as my matte layer, but I'm going to show you an alternative to that if you don't want to use gold foil or you don't have it. This actually right here is a tag. We're going to look at that too. This is another tag that has gold on it, and I really love that. I think it goes or pairs so nicely with all the gold accents in this paper. These 2 I stamped and shaded with a blending brush, so we'll look at that. And by the way, don't forget, let me just show you, the inside is really a nice place to showcase some of the additional designer paper and just give this a really beautiful finished look. I've used Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy. Both of them are beautiful with this suite. So depending on what you have or what you like, you have choices. I really liked this idea. I just spaced 3 of those vases out, used another one of those tags with the gold. Isn't that pretty with the gold? I hope you can see all the shimmer in that. And again, don't forget the inside. I think it's just so pretty to do a little extra touch inside. And then this was kind of a last minute idea, and it's a pocket card that only uses a 4x4 square here. So I'm going to show you that as part of this video at the end. And these cards right here will be on pattystamps.com on June 7th. This one will be on my blog on June 8th. If you're watching a replay on YouTube, I will have the links in the description. And I actually even forgot to introduce myself. Please forgive me. My name is Patty Bennett. And when I say my blog, I mean pattystamps.com. That is my website. I have over almost 7,000 posts there for you for inspiration. If you're looking for more inspiration, if you want to sign up for my newsletter, get my shopping link, you can do that all through pattystamps.com. So welcome and hello. I'm sorry, I forgot. I got so excited I forgot to introduce myself. Yes, so Tammy says the tags are perfect. So while I have that in my mind, I want to show you these. And I also have a little bit of a funny story about these. Okay, so in the online exclusives that released in May, as part of the Floral Impressions Suite, there are these gold framed labels and ephemera pack. Okay, I just call them tags, whatever. That's a long name. So that one is this package. And these, they're interesting because, and I think I showed you this before, because this now sounds familiar. When you punch this out, I'll just do this gently so I don't rip anything. It's actually 2 separate pieces. So each label is rimmed or framed. I'm trying to get it to sparkle there. There you go. With the gold foil, but then there's also another shape. So you could use these on the same project or 2 separate projects. All of the labels in this pack are like that. So this pack, OE, online exclusive, is here. It's part of the Floral Impressions Suite, and it's 165616. You can see those are the shapes. There are 6 sheets. You get 2 of each of those. And you can see they're good size. They're nice and large. Okay, so that's that pack. I thought that they repeated this in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. When I was flipping through the ephemera section, I thought this was the same thing. Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise. This is an entirely separate pack. This is called Touch of Gold, and it also has 6 sheets, but there are 3 of this and 3 of this. So you get lots of tags. You get the larger ones, you get smaller ones, but you get 3 of everything. So just kind of depending on what you need, you have 2 choices. And I don't know why it took me like a whole month and a half to figure out that there's actually 2 completely separate packages here. So on our projects today, I have used the 2 larger tags from this pack, but I want to show you the difference. That extra gold frame right there does not punch out like that other package. These just have a gold rim, but that stays here. Now, I suppose you could get creative and you could probably use your trimmer. And I'm thinking maybe if you cut like there and there, this could actually be a frame. And you could use that to frame a photo on a scrapbook page or as an overlay on a card. But the extra gold on the outside does not punch out like that first pack. So I just wanted to show you that difference. But I've used these 2. So now that you have the backstory, and I'm sorry, I know I get kind of long-winded, but I really like to give you the story and the whole roadmap here. This tag I put in this orientation. I trimmed it right there in my trimmer, and I stamped thinking of you, and that is what is behind here. So I just trimmed that part off to have a rectangle. So we'll get to that when we make that card. And then this one, this is pretty straightforward. You can see I just put it in the background of that card, and I think it looks really beautiful. I also used it right here. It's turned this direction for that card. So different ways you can use them. And I like that little extra touch of gold. So that's what I've done with these. So sorry, I know, long story longer instead of long story short, but I wanted to show you those. And then so that you know where I got some of these pieces, let's look at this inspiration sampler. So this will show you that these images up here are what you can stamp with your stamp set. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greetings. And there is this little, well, it's a blossom. I'll show you how I turned it into a cherry blossom. These 2 pieces, I have used them as a branch for my cherry blossoms. They also can be used for the gold veining on the pottery, so that it looks kind of like that. If you want to stamp that in gold and emboss it right on top of the pot or the vase and the smaller piece of pottery, you can do that. And then there's also the beautiful peony, and I'll show you how I did that in 2 colors on this card. And then of course you have the large vase and the smaller piece of pottery. I think this can be either a piece of pottery or it could be a teacup, like for the hot green tea. So those are the images that you can stamp. And then for die cutting, we have, take off these little tabs so they're not too distracting. For die cutting, these 2 pieces will do those blossoms. You have a really nice label. Isn't that, it's just a great shape. It looks like washi tape, doesn't it? This peony will die cut from the designer paper or the stamp. So you can stamp it or use the paper. So I'll show you that. And then these are the 2 pieces that cut the gold vein. Well, it can be gold, doesn't have to be gold. I added the what do you call this? Adhesive sheet to the back of a strip of gold foil, and I cut those. So that either could be a branch if you do it in brown, or it can be the gold veins. So if you wanted to, here are the two different pieces. You can add this to your pottery, and that would become the veins. I think maybe it works better this direction. Let me check. Yeah, I think this direction works better. So it has to be trimmed a little bit, but this can be the gold veins if you wanted to make this look like it was the repaired piece of pottery with gold. And then this one, let me punch that little piece out. This one can fit on there. So you can cut those. I would highly recommend that you do what I just showed you. Put your adhesive sheet on the back first, because then you can just peel this off like a little sticker and put those on. So that is that option. And where did I leave off here? Oh, this. I want to show you this. So in the designer paper, there is an entire sheet. Sorry, my fingers are seriously not working well today. There's a little spoiler alert. Where is that whole piece? I have a whole piece here to show you. Here it is. Okay. There are two entire sheets that look like this, and you can use your 3 dies to die cut all of those pieces out, which is what I did. So you have the peony, the small piece of pottery, and the tall vase. You can cut all of these out. I cut mine with scissors, just straight up like that. You can kind of see. I just cut that out so that it would fit in my die cutting machine. I cut them all, and then I actually cut this remaining part in half this way and cut all of those so that I had cute little jars full of pieces ready to go. So I have my flowers and my pottery ready to go. So that piece is beautiful, and this is not all of them, but this gives you an idea of some of those beautiful pieces that you can cut out. Isn't this amazing? I just love these, and this, sorry, and this color palette is so soothing and beautiful as well. Oh, good. Thank you, Bev. She loves the extra tidbits. Oh, Terry appreciates the backstory. Thank you. I'm just catching up on these comments. Oh, Kathleen missed the tags. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Oh, so the funny story, this is actually a little bit embarrassing, but I'm going to share it with you anyway, because it'll just reinforce that I'm a totally real person here. So for this upcoming crafting cruise that I'm co-hosting with Kirsten, we are each designing half of the projects. And when I saw this pack of tags, I said to Kirsten, this would be great to incorporate in our projects, because then it's less die cutting for everyone. We don't have to take as many punches with us on the ship. And what if we just use these tags? So I designed all my projects with this pack, got them all done. And then I realized later that I had told Kirsten that we would use this pack. Luckily, they had not been ordered. This was several weeks ago. I caught my mistake. And so I said to her, since I've already designed all my projects, do you mind if we just use this pack? I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, these are 2 separate packs. It was kind of like earth-shattering to me. Oh yes, the gold veins are so beautiful, Lois. Isn't it pretty? A rice bowl, Shauna. Yes, I think it could be that as well. I think you are right. Yes, 12 by 12. Oh, yes, sorry, 12 by 12. And yes, I'll just share that one more time with you. I took my scissors and I cut this direction, and then I cut across here. And it doesn't matter. You can cut this however you want, but that was how I fit all of that through the die cutting machine. And then if you want to just see some of the other you can kind of see them all in the projects I've been doing. But here are just a few of the other patterns. So we have a whole piece of the gold veining. We have this patchwork piece. Oh, I love this. I'm going to use this with the sailboat suite or bundle. This is really pretty. This could be used for anything. I mean, that doesn't to me even evoke Japanese, but you could use that for anything. We've used this. I love this. I think this is might be my favorite piece. I've used that. Love the back of that. I used that as well. This is what I cut for the inside. So I think I showed you that. Here's another beautiful, very generic pattern that you could use for absolutely anything. And then another similar piece with the gold veins and another beautiful, I think to me, this is kind of like either Stamped Off Flirty Flamingo or Petal Pink. Either way, I think it would coordinate. I think we looked at that one. Oh, and then this sheet. Then there's two of these as well. So those are just so beautiful. So many different inspirations that you can gain just from the paper. So let's make a couple of these cards. We're going to do the pocket card last. I think, if I remember, I think I got out the supplies to make these two. So that's what I'm going to do with you right now. Oh, and I don't want to forget this too. I might use this. I'm going to pull this embossed piece in just a moment. So let's look at the very simple card of just using the die cut vases first, because like I said, you don't have to purchase the stamps if you don't want to. You could just die cut all of these beautiful pieces of pottery and the flower and use those. So I'm starting with a 4 1/4 by 11 Misty Moonlight. As I showed you before, the Night of Navy also works lovely with this suite. So either way. And then on this one, I did use a matte layer of the gold foil. What I did, because after I made the first one and I covered it up with the designer paper, I was like, wow, that's a lot of gold foil to use up. And so on my next, I made several of these. On my next few cards, I actually grabbed my textured notes dies and I used these two sizes right in the middle, and I die cut out some note or textured notes shapes right out of the middle, because I just kind of killed me to use up that much gold foil. But I wanted to show you an alternative. I don't know if you remember this paper, Season of Elegance. This has been around a while. It's in a pack with 3 different colors. You have red, blue, green, and then this just kind of vanilla. You have all of these pieces with the gold foiling in this package. And I thought, wow, this could be an alternative. And I thought, I kind of like that. It's just a different look, because instead of the solid gold, it gives you some of that kind of veining look almost. Can you see that? This is the piece that's under there. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to make this card with this Season of Elegance paper just for kind of a little different look. If you didn't want the gold, that side would be pretty as well, but I want the gold. So I'm going to layer it on there. We could use this as well. This could be your background. Boy, that's even really, really, oh, look how pretty that is. Okay, I think I'm going to have to make more cards this weekend. Oh, that's gorgeous. Well, okay. Anyway, sorry. So many choices. It's that whole dilemma of using your designer paper and flipping it over to glue it on, and then you see the other side and you're like, I want to use that side. But we're going to use that, and I'm just going to kind of replicate. It's a slightly different pattern, but it's still the same idea. It's just the backside of a different piece, but I want to use this one. Oh, by the way, I was just going to say I ordered more of these, and that gives me an opportunity to remind you that this suite, as well as all 27 suites in the online store, are part of the buy one get one half off sale. So if you're watching this in June 2025, you can get any of these items in this suite, except the embossing folder is sold out currently. It's coming back June 23rd. But you can get these items at half off that are in the suite. So just a little reminder, this is a great, great time to purchase from this suite. And then I had a scrap, so I decided to put a little kind of a grounding spot for these pieces of pottery. So that piece was 4 by 5 1/4, and then we have 3 3/4 by 5. So this one is, what is this, like an 1.5 inches? Yeah, 1.5 inches by 3 3/4. But it was just kind of a scrap sitting there. I was like, oh, I like that. That's good. I did a darker blue here. Like that. And then remember I said I used this tag, but I chopped off so that it became a rectangle. You could use scissors. I'm going to do my trimmer. I'm just going to put it right up here so that all of the round part comes off. Save that if you want. Don't have to. And then I thought this was a lovely thinking of you card. So I have that stamp mounted, and I don't know if I want to do Misty Moonlight or Night of Navy. I don't know. I'll do Misty Moonlight. Sorry for the reach. I didn't have it out and I was deciding. Sorry, I'm just going to pull it toward me here so I can see and look straight down. Beautiful. And we're going to use Misty Moonlight for these pots, so I'm going to leave that out and available. And put this piece on. Now, if you didn't want to buy this pack of, what do they officially call it? Label foiled? No, this one. Touch of Gold tags. You could cut a piece of white cardstock and just tear a little strip of gold foil, and you could totally get that look. So you have that option as well. Then for the pots, we can do any of these pieces of pottery and vases that we would like. I die cut that whole sheet, and I've been using a whole bunch of them. Kind of like this really soft look here. Maybe that. Maybe, oh, no, I really like that. Oh, you know what? We'll put this one inside. Put that one inside. I like that, I think. Oh, but then it's 2 of the same patterns. I don't know that I want 2 of the same patterns. I don't really want to bring in this color. This is not, and the green. Neither of those are looking great to me. So what if we did that and that? That is the same as that. How hysterical is that? Okay, we'll just go with these 2. It's fine. And we'll put that one on the inside. It's fine. Totally fine. So I used pieces of foam adhesive sheet for the back. Oh, look, I have a perfect piece for that. Smaller one for that. I just go through my little bin here and use up pieces till I run out. Okay, I'm going to just put this right there. I think I'll stagger this one up a little higher. I like that. And then I die cut the flowers. So this is what they look like when you die cut from the designer series paper sheet. There's our, oh no, a little bit bigger. Here's one. And then I just laid it kind of across the bottom like that. So there we go. Two different looks, different background paper and different gold foil, both fairly similar. And then let's see, what did I do on the inside of this? Oh yes. Okay, so we are going to cut a piece. I didn't pre-cut that one. So let's cut that at 4 by 5 1/4. And put that on the inside. And I am just really, really enjoying using the Textured Notes dies on the inside instead of just a rectangle of basic white. Sometimes I get in a hurry and sometimes I just have to go with it and just do basic white, but I really love these. I really love this little extra beautiful detail on the Textured Notes dies. And I think it's just so nice to kind of have that like little, what do I want to call it? Just when somebody opens the card and they just get that little extra feeling of, oh, this person like really thought about me extra today to do that. I kind of like that. And I don't want to pop up that pottery piece. I'm just going to glue it flat. So there we go. So that is card idea number 1, using the die cut images from the paper. Let me just catch up on questions really quick. Oh, thanks, Louise. She likes the idea of using the branch. Yeah, we'll get to that on our 3rd card. Hello, Rita. Welcome. Thank you, Melanie. Thanks, Diane. I'm glad you learned something new. Oh, Linda, you're going to love this suite. Let's see. Is that sheet with all of the stamps you're using as a guide? Does that come? Oh, no. I make these inspiration sheets, and I have all of them on my blog. They're actually linked in today's post. You can go see all of the inspiration sheets that I have so far. I make them for each suite. I don't know, maybe you haven't seen some of my other videos, but I just like to stamp everything and die cut everything with all of the pieces. And that really helps me to see what is in each suite and just gives me some inspiration of how to use the different images. So yeah, it's not included. It's something that I make, but you're welcome to copy them. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just checking if there were any questions. Oh, what stamp set is the Thinking of You? Let's see. Do I have that out right here? I think it might have been. Yeah, it's the Right Words. It should be linked on my blog today. I've got all of the supplies on my blog today. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, so Debbie was asking about maybe seeing the glue behind, and then you said you noticed that I'm rubbing it with my fingers. So I don't know, maybe, I hope that helps. Does that answer? I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Was the textured dies sold with stamps? So yes, Lynn, it's in a bundle, but the stamps have nothing to do with the dies. It's an interesting bundle. Let's see. Do I still have, let me just see if I still have that. Was it in this one? I'm trying to remember what release that was in. I'm thinking it was a couple times ago. It was a couple of releases ago, and I am not seeing that. I lied. I have it. I have it. I have it. It's in the Botanical Textures Suite. So the stamp set, I know this is really tiny, but the stamp set is just kind of a nature set. I don't even think I bought the set. I just bought the dies. So it really, they have nothing to do with each other. It's an interesting bundle, but it's been out since the beginning of 2025. Let's see. All right, so let's move. I don't think I missed any questions. If I did, let me know. Let's move on to seeing how I created the shaded vases. This is really pretty easy. I think you're going to love this. I used the stamp set, stamped, these were just scraps. That's why these are like sideways. They didn't fit upright. I'm just using scraps. I stamped the tall vase and the small, we'll call it a rice bowl / piece of pottery / teacup. It can be whatever you want. I stamped them in Misty Moonlight, and then I grabbed my blending brush and my Misty Moonlight ink. And I always test it first, just make sure there's no blobs or fuzzes or something. Okay, and then I can start down here because this is going to be die cut. And I'm going to do one side a little heavier, a little bit on the other side, but I'm doing the right side a little heavier. Okay, and then I'm just going to turn this just because it's easier for me. I'm going to start adding ink to this side of the tall vase. And as I always say, whether you're using Stampin' Blends or blending brushes or watercolor or anything like that, it's always easier to add extra color than it is to have too much on there and then try to take something off. It's almost impossible. So you always want to build up your layers a little at a time. And I know that kind of looks messy, but you'll just see how beautifully magic it is. Beautifully magical. I think that would be the better way to say that. How beautifully, well, you know what I mean. How magic it is when we die cut. And I love little Post-it flags. You can use washi tape. You can use Post-it notes. You can use whatever you'd like. Doesn't matter. To hold my die in place while I get everything set. And then I'm going to die cut and show you how pretty these are. Okay, so please hold. There's what we're working towards. Please hold. I'll be right back. Just turning around. Okay, and then when we pop these out, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. So beautiful. Look at these. Look how beautiful. How easy is that? That is just so simple. So that is what we're going to do to make this card. So this one is the same 4 1/4 by 11 Misty Moonlight, folded in half, and I've used my favorite pattern here. I did not put the extra layer on this one, but you totally could do that. Completely up to you. Always a little love inside. So here we go, Debbie. Yep, we're going to do this. And if you were having trouble with the glue feeling lumpy, you can always use your bone folder. and just give that a really good flattening, and that should spread your glue out totally. So then we used this tag. Remember this tag that we punched out earlier? And I used that as my little background piece here. If you might prefer to just use white or do a white rectangle with some gold foil matting, that would work. Doesn't have to be the tag, but I thought that was really pretty. So this is going to be our birthday card, and here's a little tip for you. I used my take your pick tool with the I almost touched it. I'm not going to touch it. With the knife blade, and I just used it to make a slit in the top. Oh, I hear the gardeners out there. Not at our house. We don't have a gardener, but they are across the street. And then I can slip that in like that. So same with this. If you were doing it in the top of there, you can make a little slit, and then you have a spot to slip your stem in. And go back to my little bucket of fun here. I think this one's too tall. Cut a little bit off. And I had a little, like, this is a little kind of a tip here. So when I got it how I liked it, the angle of the flower, I tipped it over and I kind of sealed it in place with my, a little bigger one. Oh, this one's perfect. With my foam adhesive sheet. Right there. So that sealed that in place so that it would stay at that angle. And we'll put the tall one here and the short, oh, wait, hang on. This tiny little edge is hanging over. Little surgery, a little tiny bit of surgery. Okay, and there we go. And that is all for that card. This doesn't need anything else. You could put gems, you could put extra whatever, something, but isn't that pretty? It's just so pretty to just do that. Let's see what we did on the inside. Oh, was that same piece? Let me see. I think I might want to use a different piece. I think I'm going to cut into, hang on, my fingers are seriously not working. I'm going to cut into this one for the inside. Isn't that pretty? Look how pretty that is going to be for the sailboat bundle. Won't that be beautiful with that? I can't wait. Oh, you know what? I think I started to mention something and I got distracted. I was talking to you about the BOGO sale, and I wanted to mention that I purchased lots of extra packs of this paper because I'm just seeing so many other things that I want to create with it. Like I said, with the sailboat bundle, with those two patterns that I showed you. Oh, let me grab them. They were the blue patterns that, to me, they could go on anything. So these two right here, these two blue patterns, like you can use those on absolutely anything. So I thought, okay, I definitely need an extra 2 packs of this while it's on the BOGO sale. So there you have it. Those are coming soon. So there's card number 2. So far, do you have a favorite, 1 or 2? Just curious. I personally love them both, but just curious if you have a favorite. Sorry, I just realized this has been totally glaring, and I apologize for that. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Gay. Yeah, I tried a new color yesterday. I I like it. It's kind of a little more springy, summery than my typical red. Thank you. You're welcome, Debbie. Oh, good. I'm glad you like the idea to slit it, Margie. Thanks, Tammy. Let's see. Yes, I love the gold tags. They work perfectly, Robin, with this, don't they? Just perfectly. Okay, so far everybody likes card number 2 better. Yay. Debbie said our favorite is the entire suite. I kind of go with you on that. I'm glad you like the shading. Oh, thank you, everybody. Hi, Janet. Didn't know you were here. Okay, so we are going to make the pocket card now. And this one, this is just so simple. You're going to love this idea. This one is not a folded base. So this is just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 Misty Moonlight. And then I used that beautiful swirly pattern as my next layer. You can barely almost see that they're layered because they're both the Misty Moonlight, but I liked that subtleness in the background there. So that is 4 by 5 1/4. And then what you need is a 4 by 4 square. You can see here that I've used 2 different patterns, but you just need a 4 by 4 square that is cut on the diagonal. And if you just had one square and you flip it over, you can just use the 2 patterns. Here you can see I have 2 different pieces of paper that I've used. So I have yet different pattern options, but it doesn't matter. You can use whatever you'd like, but I love that you could just do a 4 by 4 square, flip it over, and use both sides if you wanted to. That's how easy this card is. Friends, this is so easy. Oh, that would be pretty too. Hang on. Why does this always happen? Oh no, that's like too much veining. Okay, we're going to leave it subtle. It just, doesn't it pain you sometimes to put glue on such a pretty side? But that's why we buy an extra pack and we make more cards. Right? So our base is just a single piece. It's not folded. And then I did find that I really like tear and tape to hold these 2 little pieces down, these triangles, just because when you take this in and out, okay, it kind of gets a lot of wear and tear on the card. So I like to do the tear and tape. And it's called tear and tape because it tears. You don't have to cut it. If you want to cut it, you can cut it, but I like the quickness of just ripping it against my fingernail like that. And then, if you haven't seen me do this, I always burnish with the bone folder, and it really helps that backing paper to release more easily. Okay, then, friends, I really love this little hook end of the Take Your Pick tool. If you've watched me, you've seen that I rarely ever use the Take Your Pick tool. I had found that it didn't feel as comfortable in my hand as just the old pokey tool, this one. So I generally use this one. But I've been having some issues with my hands, and all of a sudden, I feel like this feels better in my hand. And I found this little end, it's on the other end of just the pokey tool. I really like this. And I've been using it to take the backings off dimensionals and off of the tear and tape. So there you go. Just a little tip. If you haven't tried that end, it's really nice. And I'm lining up this point with this point. And if you line up the point and one side, then the other side is going to magically line up. So I'm just going to burnish that. And that made our pocket. So you can see, let's see, let me just see we have a pocket here, right? We're going to be able to slide our die cut piece in there. This is actually 2 because I die cut 2 at a time. So let me show you how I made the cherry blossoms. Well, I think they're cherry blossoms. They don't have to be, but in my little world, they're going to be cherry blossoms. So I am going to use the 2 pieces that can either be the gold vein or they can be branches, but we're going to use them as a branch. I'm just gonna, well, I didn't need that big of a block. It's okay. That, and then let me grab a smaller one for my blossoms. I used, sorry, didn't have it ready. Should have had it ready. Pecan pie for my branches. And I just had to kind of build them up because one branch didn't seem like quite enough to me. So I did this branch kind of there-ish, give or take. And then I did this branch just kind of coming over from this side. Oh, I thought I did it a 3rd time. I don't think I did. We will not clean these yet, and we'll see. We might add another branch. And then my cherry blossoms are strawberry slush. Whoa! Oh my goodness, hang on. Almost stamped myself. Okay. Cherry blossoms. Cherry blossoms. We're just going to keep building this up. So you just keep stamping them as many times as you'd like to build up the blossoms. And then I actually stamped, I think I did kind of like this. I stamped a couple of them just super light so that they just kind of filled in a tiny bit without too much color. And then I wanted them filled in a little bit, so I grabbed a Stampin' Blend. Uh-oh. It's out here somewhere, and I don't know where. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shoot. Well, okay. Let's do this. Let's do light flamingo. I think that's what I used, but not 100% sure. Yeah, that's what I used. Never mind. We're good. We're all good. And all I'm doing is kind of stippling with the thick end of the broad tip. I'm just dabbing. I'm not trying to color these in because cherry blossoms have a lot of different like pinks and whites and different shading and fluffiness to them. So that's what I did with that. That was it. I mean, how simple, right? Very simple. Then, I wonder if I have a scrap of this. I don't, so it's okay. We'll just punch. Oh, I do. I have a scrap. Okay, so I wanted to show you how I made this little tab. Because if you use this tab punch, just like that, I felt, in my mind, it was a little bit large, a little bit overbearing. Do you see the difference? So, surgery, my friends. I snipped a little bit off the sides and about 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. And I just made it smaller. Pretty tricky, don't you think? Then I put that on top, like that. So then that is our insert for our pocket, and it's your place to stamp a greeting or write a note, whatever you'd like. And I liked how the pattern picked up that. And then we will just add the, oh, no, I know what I have to do. I have to show you how I stamped the 2 colors of the flower. So let me show you that. Yeah, hang on. Just making sure. I don't know why it seems like I put a bunch of stuff away that I wasn't supposed to put away. So, my bad. All right, the flower, the peony, is beautiful. You could use this on other projects. Doesn't have to be just for this. I stamped the whole thing. Well, almost the whole thing. I tried my best just to kind of ink. You see that? Ink with the strawberry slush on the flower portion. And then I took my In Color Secret C and did the leaves and the stem. And where it's picking up some of the strawberry slush, then I just wipe off just so that I can try to get that off. And then I stamped that on a scrap of white, like that. And if you want to do more than one, make sure you clean that off before you dip that back into your strawberry slush pad. Then I used my Flirty Flamingo, the same marker, and just added a little bit of shading to the flower. Not too much. I don't want to fill it in, just a tiny bit. And I did some Lost Lagoon for the leaf and just kind of a little bit there by the stem. So that kind of filled that in. And then when I die cut it with the die, that's what I have. So as this dries a little bit, it's going to lighten and it will look like that. As your blends soak into your paper, it changes color just a little bit. So I have that, and I have a vase. And you probably don't need to see me stick all that down. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. It's just gluing it on. And I did use this tag right here. That tag is what I did thanks on. So it has that little bit of gold, and I really liked that. And just as a little tip, I want to show you, I took a pack of those tags and I just punched them all out, and I have them in a little cup here on my desk so that when I'm making something, if I want to just check and see, like I used this long one on here, just see like, oh, do I like that? I can just kind of hold it on there. It's easier to have them separate than digging through the package. At least I felt like it was. So that was how I completed that card. Again, you don't need to see me stick those on, but then it turns out like that. So this one, self-explanatory. I don't think you need to see me make that, but here was our first card and our second card and our pocket card and kind of a bonus image there, bonus card. And like I said, on pattystamps.com tomorrow, which will be June 7th, I'll have these 3 cards. And then the pocket card will be on my blog, pattystamps.com, on June 8th, so that you can see all the details. But all of the shopping links are on my blog right now. So if you wanted any of these things, you can jump over there and you can shop whenever you'd like. Let me just see if there were any other questions. Oh, I'm glad you liked it, Robin. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed adding on the tags. I really did, to this suite. Thank you, Tammy. So glad that you like it. Let's see, any questions? Oh, Margie bought the suite. Can't wait to play with it. I know. So pretty. Let's see. Oh, Liz, I'm glad you like it. She said, I was going to pass on this set, but seeing your cards makes me reconsider. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. So any other questions? If I missed your question, please retype it, because I might have missed something as I was creating and not watching my tablet, but I would be happy to answer if you have questions. And let's see, next week, do I know what we're doing? I can't remember if I know what we're doing next week. Oh yes, I do know what we're doing next week. Coneflower is next week, and the week after that is the new washi tape. So I've got bins behind me all ready to go. Everything's cut, everything's ready. You're going to love that washi tape. I just can't wait to show it to you. It's out of stock right now, which is why I'm not showing it to you today. But yeah. So I don't know if my comments stopped. Oh, they did stop. That's why I'm not seeing comments. You're welcome, everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed these. I'm so glad you enjoyed them. I hope you all have just a wonderful weekend. And if you ordered this, or if you have this, I hope that you'll have fun playing with this and experimenting. Doesn't have to be blue. You can do all sorts of colors, but I really loved this beautiful, just this soft Misty Moonlight feel. I think it's, I don't know, really soothing. And I hope you enjoyed the idea of using the beautiful Season of Elegance paper too. I think that's a great combination. That and the gold tags with this, I think everything together, it just, oh, it's just, oh, I forgot to show you this. Oh my gosh, probably half of you are already gone. I forgot to show you the embossing folder. I meant to show you. I didn't use it yet in projects, but I tried it out, and it's really interesting how both sides are really amazing. I don't think there's a right and a wrong, but if you wanted to cut out the gold veining from this, you can. You could also use the gold veining in the designer paper, but I just wanted to show you how pretty the embossing folder is. It is currently sold out until the end of June, but it's beautiful, and it's something that really enhances the rest of the projects, I think. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining. Hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you all next week. Bye.